everyone, and welcome to another episode of Livestock Time. My name is Mercy Bamigola, and today we'll be speaking with Professor Dr. Ismet Turkmen, who will be talking to us about the care and nutrition of calves during the milk feeding period. Hello, Professor.
Hello.
You're welcome to the show.
Of course. What about you?
I'm doing very well too. Thank you. So I'd just like us to start with the first question. Why is the feeding of calf in the first hours after birth so important?
Of course. This is a very important question. It's very good question. Why? Because calf newborn time needs to good quality colostrum. Why? Because colostrum contains high amounts of immune substances, and calves are born is very important into the world with zero immunity, different for human baby. Therefore, they become immune only by drinking colostrum. Additionally, colostrum contains high amounts of protein, vitamin, energy, and minerals. Colostrum is so beautiful first feed for calf, for immunity, for nutrition, right?
Right. Thank you very much for that introduction. You already answered some of the questions I was going to ask.
Okay.
So we'll just continue with the other ones. Now, you talked about, how the immunity of the calves are very important. What are the essential steps in caring for a calf after birth, and how should cleanliness and environmental arrangements be managed?
Okay. Everywhere has to be clean. Everywhere has to be good condition. Barns or pens, calf stay should be very clean. And then is very important to put plenty of, for example, straw as bedding material. And then we can change bedding material as straw. Regularly, intervals we can change as bedding material. Generally, we prefer in Turkey as bedding material for good condition straw. Straw is very good bedding material. Sometimes in Turkey, some farmer prefer no straw. Generally prefer rubber material, but calves don't like rubber material as bedding. Why? Because calves like soft material and dry material. And then we had some experiments as a bedding material, about bedding material. We tried two kinds of bedding material, and one side we used rubber material, one side we used straw material. Therefore, the calves were stay to straw material generally has more time lying time. More time lying time means is more live weight gain, more profit, more condition.
Oh, great. Thank you for that. Now, under what conditions do you think a health check should be performed on a calf?
A health check should be made when the calves, for example, movements decrease, and there we check the appetite. For example, sometimes calves don't drink the milk or don't eat the dry feed, for example, compound feed. Every day, we checked calf behavior about appetite. For example, calves is drinking milk, eating calf starter feed. Sometimes we need to check body temperature. We have to check body temperature sometimes.
Okay. So we need to check the body temperature. I think this
Of
is
course.
also, yes, this is also, applicable to human beings too.
I like human baby.
Yes, like human
Like
beings.
human baby. Yes.
All right. So how are nutritional needs of the calf met during the milk feeding period? And then right after this, I would also like you to answer like, should we prefer the mother's milk or calf milk replacer should be used?
It is under the discussion in Turkey, in the world. Some producer or some farmer prefer mother milk. Some farmer prefer milk replacement. Generally, we are believing, like me, mother milk every time is good. Of course, nothing can replace mother milk. Okay, why? Because mother milk contains natural protein, natural vitamin, mineral, and all of them animal products. Milk replacer milk is different. Why? Milk replacer contains a bit vegetable feed material like oil, like wheat grain, like soybean meal as protein source. Therefore, therefore, uh, therefore, generally we prefer mother milk. Sometimes milk replaces cheaper than mother milk. Milk replacer price, for example, half of mother milk, we can prefer a milk replacer. It depends on price, right? Sometimes we have some problem, some disease. For example, tuberculosis and brucellosis, and that can be transmitted to calf from mother milk. Okay, right? Mother milk sometimes contains tuberculosis and brucella problem. Therefore, in this situation, we prefer absolutely milk replacer due to tuberculosis and brucellosis problem. At that time, we checked the formula. Milk replacer formula is very important. Milk replacer formula is good. For example, milk replacer formula contain high protein, high energy, and high vitamin and mineral. Sometimes we can prefer.
All right.
So it depends on price.
Yes. Yeah, all right. You just talked about, the characteristics and the things that should be inside the milk replacer because they are also beneficial. Yes. Thank you. So now what are the long-term effects of drying of milk on the milk yield of cows? And how do you think the drying of process, how do you think it affects the cow's next lactation period?
The next second, I couldn't understand.
The question. Okay. Sorry. So, what are the long-term effects of drying of milk on the milk yields of cows?
Generally, we use good we has good condition about calf nutrition or calf management. For example, we have female calves. Female calves goes to mother female calves. For example, 2 years later goes to mother. Produce much more milk. When we managed calves, female calves, good condition, good nutrition, 2 years later, we can take much more milk.
So, how important is the need for water and electrolytes during the milk feeding period of calves?
Okay, this is a very good question. Why? Electrolyte is very important for calving period. Why? Time to time, baby calves has diarrhea problem. Diarrhea is so bad disease for calves, like human baby. Why? The calves, when the calves has diarrhea, it lost so many potassium and chlor and many electrolytes. Losing electrolytes goes to death, right? Why? Because body of calf has 75% contain 75% water. It's very important water dehydration or water losing. We call it dehydration. Therefore, during the diarrhea, we have to give them electrolytes like sodium, chlor, and potassium, and etc. It's very important. Only diarrhea problem, right?
Yes. Okay. So this is only applicable in only dairy problems.
Yes.
Okay.
Only diarrhea problem.
Okay. Thank you. So, what measures do you think can be taken in case of an electrolyte loss?
For example, in such cases, products containing electrolytes should be given instead of milk. 2 and 3 days, we can use electrolyte solution. Electrolyte loss, of course, occurs mostly in diarrhea events.
Yes, as you said initially.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's now move to the next question.
Right.
Now, what are the common health problems encountered in newborn calves? We know that there are a lot of problems that newborn calves can actually, experience. But what are the most common ones that you think are notable?
We have 2 problems during weaning period. Diarrhea, one of them. Other one, respiratory problem. For example, pneumonia. Both of them is very fatal. To prevent such problems, the mother, before parturition, the mother must be vaccinated just before birth. Mothers are exposed to rotavirus and coronavirus and choleseptemia. Therefore, mothers needs to requires for vaccination, and then when mother vaccinated against rotavirus, coronavirus, and septicemia before parturition, when the birth, he give them as via colostrum against coronavirus and septicemia colostrum has many against the septicemia and coronavirus immunity.
All right. Thank you. Initially, when we started the discussion, I think that was the second question. We talked about,
Yes.
The importance of cleanliness and the environmental arrangements. Now, this
Yes.
next question, I want to ask you, what should be the appropriate, environmental condition for calves? We're talking about, the temperature now, the humidity, and then the wind factors.
For example, you ask me good condition. What is good condition situation? For example, cows don't like very cold weather, very hot weather. Cows, baby cows, likes optimum condition, optimum weather condition. What is optimum condition, weather condition? Nearly 10 or 15 degrees between, nearly. The cows like weather condition 10 or 15 centigrade degrees, right? Cows don't like wet bedding material. When the litter is wet, they lie down less, which lowers their immunity and leads to weight gain. And average humidity, when we look at the humidity, average humidity between 30 and 50 or 60% average humidity, average temperature 10 or 15 centigrade degrees.
All right then. So how can we monitor the growth rate of calves, especially during the milk feeding period? And if we do detect a problem, how can this, let me ask it this way, how can this problem be detected?
Of course, like human baby, for example, you have a human baby, regularly you are going to doctor. When you go to doctor every time measured him or her length or weight gain, right? Like human baby. For example, regularly we have to measure live weight gain, and we have to measure length, right? For example, we can use a tape measure for vitesse aids, and then we can use weighing equipment time to time. For example, interval 2 weeks interval. We can measure live weight. We can measure withers aid.
All right, there. So what should farmers pay attention to in order to, avoid mistakes in calf feeding? And what incorrect practices can negatively affect calf health?
Okay. For example, in nutrition, wrong practice. Cows, especially digestive problems like scurs, like diarrhea. What about what I can say? For example, generally we have problem a kind of diarrhea, and this time due to bad condition and septicemia, the diarrhea, kind of diarrhea, septicemia diarrhea, and other one. Just a minute. I'm thinking now. Coccidiosis problem. Coccidiosis is a kind of parasites. Coccidiosis makes scurs in calf. Therefore, we have to be careful calf management, and this time we have to use every time, every day, clean material, clean bedding material, clean water, and optimum milk, optimum amounts of milk, no little milk, no our milk given to them. This is clean or soft bedding material is very important.
Okay, so what are the best practices for better nutrition of calves during milk feeding period? And also, what are the recommendations regarding the scheduling of feeding times and feeding frequency?
Okay. Feeding frequency generally minimum two times, minimum 2 meal, but it depends on amounts of milk. For example, we give the milk average 6 or 7 liters per day. Absolutely, we have to give them 2-3 meal.
Okay.
Generally 2 and 3 meal.
Okay, generally 2 and 3.
3 meals per day.
Okay, that's a specific one, and I know that our viewers are also learning from this discussion, because I am also learning from it. So thank you.
For example, I want to addition to amount of liters per meal. Generally, we can give per calf per meal up to 2.5 liters milk.
Okay, great. So let's talk about the changes. What changes should be made in calf nutrition after the milk feeding period, and what types of feed should be introduced, instead of milk?
Of course. We have to pass dry feed. We have to pass dry feed after milking period, weaning period. Sorry. Generally, we prefer calf starter feed, a kind of compound feed. For example, calf starter meat contains good quality grain, corn, barley, and soybean meal. Soybean meal is so good quality protein supplement, vitamins, a kind of vitamins A, D, A, and especially minerals, calcium, phosphorus, and selenium, and zinc, etc. So we have to give them absolutely good quality calf starter feed, and this is concentrate feed. And then also we have to give them forage material. What is forage material? We can use, for example, hay, a good quality hay. We prefer generally in Turkey alfalfa hay in Turkey. Sometimes we prefer ryegrass hay, sometimes straw. Depend on condition, depend on price. Generally, we prefer in Turkey, after weaning period, we are using alfalfa hay as forage material. As compound material in Turkey, we prefer good quality calf starter feed.
Great. Now let's talk about organic milk. What are the differences between using organic and conventional milk in cow feeding, and how does organic milk affect the health of calves?
Do you drink organic milk?
Sometimes, not so much. Yes.
I haven't drink it now. Why? Because do you believe organic milk, for example, of the world? This is so difficult. It is so expensive. So, therefore, organic milk producing is so difficult. It's so expensive. Generally, or absolutely of the world, we prefer standard milk. But when we look at the organic milk, for example, the type of milk does not differ much from normal milk in terms of nutrition. When we compare it to organic milk and the standard milk as nutritionally, it is same. Therefore, I don't think so. Very large effects should not be expected using organic milk.
Okay, so
But, for example, sometimes mothers takes antibiotics. Antibiotics goes to milk. When we give the milk which contains antibiotics, it's a problem. Therefore, this is very important point. We never use milk contains antibiotic milk, especially for female calves. Why? Because female calves goes to mother 2 years or 3 years later. Sometimes in Turkey, milk with antibiotics, we give the male calves in Turkey. But generally, we don't use antibiotic milk.
all right. Thank you for that. Now to our final question. This is the final question.
Yes.
So what recommendations can you provide for raising healthy calves from an early stage? Because we do know that, as far as I do understand, this is something we should do from an early stage, not waiting for time to pass. So what recommendations do you have, and how can proper feeding habits be established in calf rearing?
Of course, we have some critical point, and this time, for example, good condition is very important. For example, good bedding material. Absolutely, must be clean and soft. This is first. Second point, we have to give them good quality milk, no antibiotics, no another chemical materials. I don't know exactly now. For example, pesticides, etc. So milk amount of milk is between per day. It must be 5 and 8 liters, and then we have to give them after weaning period, during middle of the weaning period we start, and then after we continue weaning at the end of weaning period we continue calf starter feed, good quality calf starter feed we have to use, and we have to use good quality hay, for example alfalfa hay, or maybe other kind of hay we have to use. And then I forgot it, third point, calves should be absolutely vaccinated when the time to time, for example, respiratory disease, diarrhea, and etc. Problems.
All right, there. Thank you very much, Professor, for
You're welcome.
Sharing your time and your knowledge with us. With that, we've come to the end of today's episode of Livestock Time. And I hope you did learn something from it while we speak with Professor Dr. Ismet.